612-351-8650. And don't forget to shop the Reuse Warehouse in Minneapolis.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 59. Tonight, clear with a low around 43. And Thursday, a chance for rain with a high near 55. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up the freshest baked goods and modern comfort food in a cafeteria setting. Their menu is prepared with the best ingredients available. Cafe Latte is a leader in sustainable dining, composting their food and paper waste along with recycling everything they can. Located off Victoria and Grand in St. Paul or at cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show for your Wednesday. That means Stein coming in here in just about a half an hour to reek up the place. Twins not playing today, thank God, because I like having producers that actually are paying attention to the show. The game starts at 6 this afternoon, and it's the one.
The Texas Rangers getting that sweep last night, or I think we would have had the 1 o'clock game, which would have been fun. Yeah,
it would,
with entering the critical innings just as the show starts.
Yeah, because it's really not been the best shows. I mean, we have to talk about the fact that I can't wait. I mean, hopefully, if we get to the American League Championship Series, which is kind of a far reach at this point. But if we do get there, hopefully we mostly night games, because these shows just are, what? Who? Mother?
Somehow Fox will give them like an 11 a.m. first pitch for game one when there's no other games that day.
Well, I mean, okay, if L.A. and the Braves face off, they're going to, that'll be the primetime game everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. So 952-946-6205. We have some big old news. I mean, it's newsy news pants here. In case you did not know, there is a show on in the mornings we like to call Stephanie Miller. It is on from 8 until 11. We love having her on. She is she the only show that's been on longer than I have at this station at this point? I think she is. Hartman, do we?
Yeah, I was thinking Tom, maybe.
No, but Tom was. Remember, we used to have Ed in that spot. Yep. I mean, so maybe he was broadcast. He was broadcast later in the day, wasn't he? So Tom did beat me too.
Not the same time slot.
No. Well, how many time slots have I been on this station? I'll be your 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning. No. Don't give any people.
Careful, it'll be the polka show.
It will. I wouldn't mind. We'll play some music. I'll sit around. We'll talk gummies. Good fun. No. But Steph has been on the air. Tom Hartman's been on the air. Stephanie Miller, of course, has done the Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour. She's been to Minneapolis multiple times. They have not done a tour. I don't believe they did a tour this year, but they're going to do one show. And this is going to be pay-per-view. And they're going to be doing this. If you're not paid attention, this is coming up October 21st. So a week from this Saturday. And it's going to be on demand all the way through November 30th. So you can go out and see it. And you've got Frangela, you got Hal Sparks. You've got, my man crush, John Fugelsang, who might be on the air with us next Thursday. I don't want to promise anything. Oh my. And of course Stephanie Miller plus special guest. Good fun there. So it is pay-per-view. All right. And so here's the deal. I want to let you know we have got pay-per-view passes to give away starting tomorrow. Now we will give them away during the show. So you're going to have to listen to this 2 hours. I own you. So you're going to have to listen to this, and you'll have a chance to win there. I sound so fatalist. You'll have a chance to win there, okay? All right? But we're also doing this fun thing. We have what's called social media. I know. Radio station. Now, this is the radio station's social media accounts. AM 950 Radio on Twitter, on the Facebook, and on the Instagram. Who are we posting pictures of on Instagram?
Oh, I don't know, that mystery guy that I can't identify, that producer that occasionally fills in on the show. We look like, circus of freaks here. I mean, what pictures are we putting up there? Are you putting pictures of me up there? Wow.
It's Instagram. Am I getting followers? Am I getting likes? Am I getting, what is it? I don't know. I don't know what, none of these words make any sense to me. It's just something that's going on. It's for the pretty people. I'm not a pretty person. Have you looked at me? No. Anyway, we do have that. So bon appetit. You can go visit those at your leisure. We do actually put good content up there on all of the sites, not only for this show, but all the shows. Updates on events we're going to be doing, information, sometimes news. We have a lot of stuff that we put up on these social media sites. And so if you're not following them, AM 950 Radio on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, you should be following them. All right. Here's what's going to happen starting tomorrow. What time any idea what time this is going to get posted up on?
I would guess probably around 8 or 9 a.m. sometime in that frame.
Sometime tomorrow. And we're going to be doing this for a while. Okay. So tomorrow in the morning on the social media sites, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and on the Instagram, we will make a post. And this is going to be talking about the Stephanie Miller tour coming through, or the pay-per-view event, right? That's what the post is going to be about, right?
Yep, we're going to be specifically mentioning this is the post you need to comment on.
And that's what you're going to have to do. I am going to give you the phrase you need to comment on those posts, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, or on Instagram. But here is the phrase that you need. It's tomorrow. This is tomorrow. And you have between 8 a.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow and 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is the cutoff every day. Okay. Go to the social media sites and just post on there under an account we can track you with, by the way. I love Steph. Now, this is today's code. Okay. I love Steph is today's code. We will be changing it every day. You got to listen for this show to find out what the code is that you need to put on the social media posts tomorrow. You have until 2 p.m. tomorrow. You get it on there. We count all the people that have entered in. Guess what? We'll randomly pick one, and that person will get themselves a pay-per-view pass as well. So lots of ways you can do it. You can listen to the show. Starting tomorrow, we'll be giving away a pay-per-view pass in the show itself. And you just, during the day, you have to go to the social media sites, the AM 950 Radio, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Instagram. Find the right post. Type in, I love Steph. And you could be the winner of a pass for the pay-per-view as well. And once again, that pay-per-view, the Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour with special guests, that's going to be October 21st. Of course, Stephanie, Hal Sparks, Fugelsang, Frangela, other people as well. That's going to be good fun. So a week from Saturday, you can get that. And then, of course, once again, on demand through November 30th. So good stuff there. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I love Steph. I love Steph. That's what it's 3 words. I love Steph. That's what you need to put into the social media post tomorrow.
And you need to put those words. It can't be I like Steph. It's got to be I love Steph.
Now, we will give you a little bit of a break here because
I heart Steph. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Steph could be, a lot of people might S-T-E-F. It's actually S-T-E-P-H. But we'll give you the mulligan on that one. Okay. So just in any variation, I heart Steph, I love Steph, whatever, that will work. Okay. Like doesn't work. Love. You got to love. Look for the social media post tomorrow. Listen to the show. We'll announce the winner tomorrow. And then we'll also announce tomorrow's, the phrase for tomorrow, which we'll have to put in on Friday. Okay. So just keep listening. All the information coming your way right here on AM 950. Now, Holodazzle. I went back and I looked at my social, my camera roll, and 2012, I had a 3-year-old daughter. Then it would be a 6-year-old daughter, or 7-year-old daughter, and then a 10-year-old son. We went out to the Holodazzle as it used to be. Now, did you ever go to the Holodazzle out there when it was a parade?
Say it again?
Holodazzle.
Yeah. I've been out there a few times. Yeah.
And you went there when it was the light up parade down Nickel.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the time I was going out there.
Now,
yeah.
you've gone to this other one. Have you gone to the new one the one that they have a learning park?
No.
I went there once. I'll come back to that here in a second. It was the last time I went. I was looking at the pictures. I went with my mom and my dad. My dad was still around at that point. And I can't tell you how much fun we had. Now, if you never saw it, if you never went to it, I'm going to explain a few things here that you probably go past you. But if you ever went to it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The dancing Christmas lights, the guys walking to the street with the stars, the spinning snowmen, all the light up floats, the marching band with the lights. It was great fun. It was just great fun. March down Nicollet Mall. I think it started at 12. Maybe. Did it start at 12? I can't remember what. I thought it went north. I thought it went up towards the river. I'm not mistaken. And it went up that. Yeah, it did. I know it did. And so it went up just a few blocks. It was packed downtown. You had to have police at every intersection because there was so many people just trying to watch the parade. It was packed. The night we went was cold. As a matter of fact, we went out and got hot chocolate at a local place in the downtown with my kids that evening with my parents. We had a blast. The kids had such a good time. I remember my little girls sitting there with a warm cup of hot chocolate, talking to grandma and grandpa. It was a good time. It was packed. It was packed to the gills. At some point, somebody, and I'm going to add some personal things here, and I'll make sure, I'm not sure exactly the details. But someone decided, well, you know what we need to do? We need millennials and Gen Xers, Gen Zers, rather than not Gen Xers. They could care less about Gen Xers. Gen Zers and millennials. Yeah, we need to get them making some Instagram moments. That's what we need. Now, mind you, there was nothing more spectacularly photogenic than watching that parade coming down in the heart of the downtown with all the big buildings around us. Everyone cheering and having a good time. It was a blast. But somebody decided to freaking think too much and say to themselves, as opposed to have an event that appeals to basically everybody, let's make sure we get an event because we want to sacrifice this major event so that we have 3 or 4 years of Gen Z saying, woo, that's what we want, man. You. I don't know if that's actually how the meeting went. I can only speculate. But I've been around this crap a while. I mean, there is this stupid mentality that comes about, and I'm going to be blunt. I think this is stupid mentality that comes about, that we have to change things up, keeping it fresh. We got to keep it fresh. And you end up destroying something that was spectacular. I understand Macy's was closing downtown, the 8th floor, which Brett, did you ever go to the holiday show up on the 8th floor at Macy's?
Yeah, I did as a kid. I haven't been there in quite some time.
It was great. It hadn't changed at all. Singing Christmas trees, great fun. It was awesome. Awesome. And I understand Macy's decided to shut down the store, but that was just something. It was so photogenic. It was so relatable. It was enjoyable. Everyone liked it. And it's gone. You've got to grasp and hold these things because they are fantastic. And I get it. Some guy thought to himself, we are going to open a beer garden because I want a beer garden and me and my friends want a beer garden. We don't want to parade. And the thing which blows my mind, there's a few things about this, and I'm going to talk at length about one after the break, but what is that people around him are like, okay, wait a second here. No. You want to, and okay, I've been to the new version of Holodazzle. It felt more like it was basically just a beer garden kind of mentality, which, you know, it wasn't really kid friendly. I mean, it was some pretty lights and stuff, but it wasn't really kid friendly. It didn't have, it was relatively small. You walk from one side to the other side. It's kind of like Rice Park over at the Winter Carnival. You know, it's like, you know, don't pay the full 2-hour park in there. You know, you can get done with this sucker in about 30 minutes. And I'm not saying you don't go and do it. I'm just saying It's small. It's not big. It's not like you're at the fairgrounds and hiking around. It's designed for yo, 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 that sort of thing. I got to get some social media posts. Woo! Because someone thought to themselves, as opposed to a picture of kids having a great time in front of a light up float with the Wizard of Oz on it and the downtown area, the skyline behind it, they thought, some picnic benches with beers. That's really what everyone's going to want to be there. You guys are kind of screwed up because you took one of the greatest things that used to exist and basically have turned it into a nondescript, boring kind of event, which, by the way, just has been canceled for this year. You had 20 people deep, all along Nicollet Mall, from the south side to the north side, 20 people deep. It was 5 deep in the skyways looking down on the parade. The downtown was packed at nights through the holidays. And some brain trust decided, you know what we don't need anymore? All that. Hey, let's go get a beer garden for kiddos. There is, like I said, I don't know all the details about this, and I'm probably, probably not being very fair and also being very mean to a point. But God, man, you guys can't screw this up. And there's something that happened with both the Macy's 8th floor and with Holodazzle that make me just kind of wonder what really was going on. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Let's take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood restaurant in the Whittier neighborhood at 26th and Lindale. Nightingale has patio, dining room, and bar seating available. Plus, they still have takeout and delivery. Their menu has lots of delicious options like the famous Nightingale burger and fries, ginger tamari chicken wings, smoked chicken liver pate, and more. They're open from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. daily with their full menu until midnight. So make the friendly neighborhood Nightingale your go-to restaurant in South Minneapolis. Place an order, make a reservation, and more at nightingalempls.com.
Hi, this is Gina. Matthew, I will not read this next line.
I'll be your Snookum Wookums.
Fine. My husband is the sexiest radio host in Minnesota, Matt McNeil.
Dang straight.
When it came time to replace my vehicle, I wanted an option that was safe in the environment. I wanted a hybrid. My RAV4 hybrid is a greener vehicle without sacrificing style and comfort. I love my Toyota hybrid.
Toyota hybrids are incredibly fuel efficient. Test drive one today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
New at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Kuma wood stoves and fireplace inserts. American-made, sturdy and efficient wood heaters. All models qualify for 30% tax credit you can earn for installing efficient and renewable wood heat. Come see the new wood-burning Kuma stoves and fireplace inserts.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has been selling wood-burning products since 1977. Kuma wood burners are hard-working home heaters made from heavy laser-cut steel. Kuma stoves and fireplace inserts have cast iron doors and large self-cleaning glass windows. You can see the firelight and feel the heat from their efficient fire. One of Woodland's many choices to make fire work for you and your home.
Work with the chimney and installation experts. They not only install, but will guide you if you want to install yourself. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood, gas, and electric units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. So, okay, fine. Someone decides we're going to take one of the great iconic events of Minneapolis, an event that shows the world that we're not afraid of cold. We go out and we have some fun in it. And instead, we're going to turn it into you're going to have a beer garden, man. Woo! Bring your cameras, man. Look, I'm having a beer. Freaking losers. Sorry, but it's true. Because someone decided to think too hard. And that person right now is probably cursing me out because me and my friends love going there. Yeah, that's the problem. You thought about you and your friends. You didn't think about the city. And that's the problem. That's my guess. I don't know what really happened. But there is one thing that's happened with both the Holodazzle and with the 8th floor of the Macy's that just tell me that part of this. Do you remember the movie Hoosiers? You remember that movie? Yeah. Okay. Remember that there's a scene in there where they have the vote to they have a vote to replace the coach, right? Sorry, go. It's only since 1984. Go watch that.
Yeah, no spoilers, please.
Yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, there's a vote to do this, and there's this one being led by this one guy who doesn't like the coach. And the kid comes in and says, I'll play for the team. And the guy says, I told you once we got rid of him, basically he'd come play. And he said, no, but here's the only rule I have is that I play for that coach or I don't play at all. And the guy that was trying to get rid of the coach basically says, but we just voted him out. And he doesn't want people to revisit the decision to get rid of the coach because he finally got his goal of doing this. He finally succeeded. I'm going to get rid of my great white whale, which happens to be Gene Hackman as the coach in Hoosiers. So they decide not to do the Holodazzle parade. They decide not to do the 8th floor at Macy's. What do? Do they put that stuff in storage saying, hey, maybe we should revisit this at some point? Nope. They basically sell it all off. They sell it all off. They get rid of it all. That's what at least I've understood is that most of that stuff ended up being thrown out or sold. I mean, and I know most of the 8th floor of the Macy's, and the Macy's is very inexcusable. And I bring that up, even though that's not part of the Holodazzle, but that's inexcusable because at some point you could have thought to yourself, gosh, let's just give this to the Mall of America or just take it over to the Mall of America Macy's and they could set it up over there and you would have an automatic massive draw every stinking year at the Mall of America to your Macy's store. But no, heaven forbid you actually think ahead. And it almost seems like the decision to get rid of it is like, well, let's sell everything really quick so we can't revisit this. And that's kind of what it feels like with Holodazzle. Let's sell everything. Let's get rid of everything really quick so then we can't go back. So, well, you might want us, which, by the way, just tells me the people behind these decisions knew they were bad decisions in the first place. You don't go burn the bridges behind you because you say to yourself, I want to go maybe go strolling back. No, you basically do it so that people are stuck. Either it's my way or the highway. Either you fire Gene Hackman or that's it. And that's kind of what happened here. All that stuff is gone. And sure, I've heard from some people saying, well, Matt, you don't understand. Some of that stuff was in bad shape. Fine. Hire some seamstresses or get some volunteers. Dear God, I don't think you'd have too much problem finding them and fix the stuff back up again. Once this stuff goes away, it generally doesn't come back. But if I may make a plea to the Holodazzle people, outside of a few people, no one cares about a beer garden by Loring Park. I want to repeat that. And I understand that might be hard to hear, but it was not becoming a premier event. It wasn't becoming things. I mean, for goodness sakes, I can think of 3 or 4 things. I mean, the lights over at the Arboretum, that ice palace thing that they did out in Stillwater. There was various things they did in a lot of different places that, that were pretty good. Holiday lights. I mean, my gosh, how many holiday light celebrations? They did the holiday light celebration over the state fairgrounds that one year. It was great fun. By the way, that's where I found there was some guy out there had bought a few of those things from the 8th floor at Macy's. That's where, and of course, yeah, just, hollow shell. It wasn't the winner suggestion. And unfortunately, someone made a decision to get rid of all the stuff so that we can't revisit it. That's on you guys. It was a bad idea to stop Holodazzle. I'm sorry. It was a bad idea. And when I'm talking about Holodazzle, I'm talking about the parade. It was a bad idea to stop the parade. It was a bad idea to think to yourself, you're gonna, a beer garden with a slide is somehow it's gonna bring in all the millennials and Gen Zers. Everyone's gonna be here. No one cares. I mean, you live in a city of Minneapolis. How many good beer gardens are there? I mean, it's not Thief River Falls where, hey, we got a beer garden that's going in for a temporary basis. You got parking nightmares. You got, I think you actually have to pay to get into the beer garden too, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'm not saying you don't have to pay for beer, of course, obviously, but swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. I get it. In 20 years, some brain trust is going to go down to the Minnesota Zoo and say, no one wants the pumpkin walk anymore. We need a beer garden. That will bring in all the generations here. What's the next generation after Z? Do we know it? The zygotes. The zygotes will all be here. They're going to love it so much. I hope I didn't just culturally claim the next generation are the zygotes. You're welcome, world. Mwah. But that's, I mean, I hope no one goes to the conservatory some point and say, you know, we need to rip out all these flowers, and you know what we need is a beer garden. We need to get rid of the Mall of America. You know what we should put in there? A beer garden, because that will bring in all the generations, seniors, millennials. Yo!
Beer gardens everywhere. That's what brings in the younger crowd.
You got to stop being stupid. And I hate saying it because I know there's some executive right now who's probably fuming at me. You got stupid, man. And sure, I'm glad you and your buddies are enjoying it at the detriment of the rest of the metro. You want to do Holodazzle again? Find it, go buy back all that stuff and put it on downtown. Because I can tell you right now, downtown will appreciate the crowds. I'll go back down there with the kids. We'll have a great time. I'll go down there at that point probably with my grandkids. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but I guess I'd look forward to it. Because you know what? I'm not afraid of going out in the cold. And I just don't need a freaking beer garden and some guy doing cover songs to act like I'm feeling like I'm in a youthful hip city, dude. You're trying too hard. How about I say it like that? That's the whole thing. We'll just submit it. You're trying too hard. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Hey, speaking of trying too hard, Jeff Stein up next. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
When you improvise a story we had, you adore me. Why do you ignore me?
Pause up, pet pals. Coming up on Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life show this week, we have Billy Bosco of the famous Pet family who founded Pet King Brands, and Dr. Ross Hewitt, creator of a new film called Chris the Cat. Be sure to tune in.
Catch Arden Moore's Four-Legged Furry Life every Sunday at 5 p.m. on AM 950.
The Guthrie Theater presents For the People, an irreverent new comedy born of the Twin Cities Native community. In the play, April Dakota dreams of opening a wellness center on Franklin Avenue to serve the Native community. She's counting on a grant to make it happen, but when her presentation goes sideways, she's forced to make a decision that puts the community and her culture at risk. On stage now through November 12th. Tickets at GuthrieTheater.org. That's through November 12th. GuthrieTheater.org.
Whether you rent or own a home, we all likely have nightmare stories about home maintenance, or what I like to call home cringe moments. Join me, your host, Katie Shahan, for the Yarlow Home Cringe Show. See what home cringe-worthy stories we have for you each week as we talk with local home service pros. Learn best practices for winterizing your home or what to look for after a hailstorm. Listen to the Yarlow Home Cringe Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. or on your favorite podcast app.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 59. Tonight, clear with a low around 43. And Thursday, a chance for rain with a high near 55. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up the freshest baked goods and modern comfort food in a cafeteria setting. Their menu is prepared with the best ingredients available. Cafe Latte is a leader in sustainable dining, composting their food and paper waste along with recycling everything they can. Located off Victoria and Grand in St. Paul or at cafelatte.com.
Jeff. Jeff, 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 Jeff. Jeff, Jeff. Jeff. Jeff.
Jeff Stein is our national presidential expert, noted author. You can find his books over at Next Chapter Books, as well as TotallyIowa.com, the Iowa Business Report, the Iowa Politics Report. Come to us from his flagship, KXEL in Cedar Falls, Waterloo. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I am well, but I heard a bit of the screed or rant
Yes.
or whatever. Now, you need to come clean with people as to why you are anti-beer garden. Because I know for a fact that when you lived in Iowa, you misunderstood and you thought if you took a 6-pack of empty bottles of beer and planted them in the ground and watered them, they would then sprout new full bottles of beer. And when that didn't happen, you know, I mean, you were waiting for harvest. I don't know how long, and it was sad. And
okay, let me ask you this: did you ever go to the Minneapolis Holodazzle when it was the light parade downtown?
No.
Oh,
But that's only big. Well, I don't live in the Twin Cities. I used to visit occasionally, but not no. So no, I have not.
Well, and it's just that's the problem is that you have these iconic events, and you have them in your town. There's ones
Sure.
in Des Moines. There's ones. There's these great iconic events, and once they go away, they go away. Especially if they sell off all the uniforms and all the floats and all that stuff. That's all gone.
Yeah.
And that's gone. And the reality is that you can put as many beer gardens as you want around. That's never going to capture the amazing environment that was the Holodazzle Parade when it was just down on Nicollet Mall every night through December. It was just spectacular.
Well, what was the point of changing things?
Like I said, I think some guys said, well, you know, we got to keep it young and fresh. And that was the kind of thing. I think that was kind of the mentality. Plus the fact that, I mean, when it got really cold, people would complain, but, you know, it's like still they'd end up with a ton of people downtown no matter what.
Well, okay. You're in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, it is. At last I checked.
So therefore it gets cold in the winter and people live there knowing that. Again, there are so many of these things where, and to your point, which I see the same thing here. It's like, here we have things that aren't broken and then people try to fix them.
Yep.
And there's a reason certain things move along just fine without any improvement. And you want to go have a different event, go have a different event. You know, that's fine. I know though that again, you were still waiting for the hams to come up out of the ground. And then you realize that Iowa was Zone 7 and it wasn't conducive to growing hams. And instead it was Olympia and
Grain Belt, man. Grain Belt, man. What are you talking about? Grain Belt.
Little bit of Stroh's Light, and it just wasn't.
Light, jeez, you know, it's not. Why don't you say special export light? Dear Lord,
that really was water, wasn't it? If you get right down to it, it was just water.
Water from Toledo. Oh God, it was not good. No, I mean it's you know from the land of sky blue water indeed. All right, you and I could just blow an entire show talking about this. I could go through the Twins lineup with you in a heartbeat. But I want to start.
There's a game tonight. Am I to understand there's a game tonight?
Not you know this town's on death watch after yesterday, so you know I don't want to. I'll just let it happen. Hopefully things are good and we're going back to Houston for a game.
And then just won't come home if you don't bring home hardware, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still do Homer hankies?
Oh, yeah, of course they do. That's
you know, there's no dome anymore. Everybody understands that. Homer hankies, there's no dome.
Well, it's a larger hanky. They can wrap themselves. It's more of a wrap. Homer wraps.
Yes.
I love a good Nathaniel Hawthorne smackdown like the next guy. But let's start with, I'm just going to start with the stupidity of this. Nancy Mace is running around the Capitol with a scarlet letter A on. Now, I could put a letter F or a letter A on a shirt and run around the Capitol. And most people are going to say, oh, well, thanks for letting us know. But the reality is, if you didn't read the book, the scarlet letter A was a condemnation for adultery. And here's Nancy Mace running around the Capitol, who clearly hasn't read the book, acting like, you know, I guess that, I mean, first of all, I look at it as like, sure, A, good letter choice there. You deserve everything you're about to get, but at the same time, it's like, even if we go with your intended meaning, do you understand that was for adultery, which apparently you didn't? And I don't know what's up with Nancy Mace, but she's gotten stupid.
Well, if the A fits.
Yeah, hell, I mean, did she pull a Bobert? I mean, who doesn't love Beetlejuice?
Did she pull a Bobert? Well, I think that was the pulling. I don't think the Bobert was pulled.
Clang, clang, clang goes the trolley. No, no.
Wow. As I recall, wasn't it Nancy Mace who was late to an appearance speaking at like the National Prayer Breakfast or whatever, and she dismissed being late because her fiance pulled her back. I mean, she's saying this at the podium, pulled her back into bed that morning. And she said, no, hon, I got to go. And, I got to get the kids up. Like, wait, so many things wrong at so many levels. And so if she's wandering around with an A, perhaps there's been a declaration or an adjudication that we're just not aware of. And I want to keep an open mind.
She's an interesting character. She is from the most liberal part of South Carolina. I'm familiar with South Carolina 1, which is actually, I think maybe favors it's like a D1 district. It is the thing which is remarkable about this is that she has kind of almost in a month gone from this, I'm really a moderate, I don't agree with this extremism, to, because she voted against Kevin McCarthy, she now can't kind of get away from her own vote. And it really is interesting to see her, who supposedly was the moderate of the Republican Party, and now she's kind of lost. She doesn't seem to have any trajectory whatsoever.
Well, she voted with all the Democrats, so that makes her more of a moderate, doesn't it? That probably won't work in her district.
Really
but, I heard her try to explain this all away. At the same time, she was explaining away why she was fundraising off of the vote when she had just torched Matt Gaetz for the same thing 9 months ago. But it's very different now. Oh, okay. Well, what she basically said, Kevin McCarthy lied to my face multiple times, and he needed to go. Okay. So that makes it not a public policy decision. It makes it not a moderate versus conservative decision. It makes it I was wronged and I'm extolling a personal the result of a personal grudge. That's what it came down to. She said, I'd been lied to my face too many times. Okay, but what about what your constituents would have wanted? What about, I don't know, passing a budget? God forbid. So yeah, she's got herself out on an island. And if she wants to, frankly, she might have done better with the L as opposed to the A, Laverne and Shirley like. I mean, that might have gotten her a little more straight cred, but I don't know what she's going for.
I'm going to get back to something else she did, which is kind of after the fact. We talk about what's up next. Steve Scalise has come forward now in a closed door meeting. He was basically picked to be the sacrificial lamb they put up there for the next speaker vote. Whether or not he's going to get the number of votes he needs to become the speaker remains to be seen. But this is a bit of a surprise because Jim Jordan was basically kind of picked by Trump, picked by a lot of the far right. I mean, he is more conservative, more to the right than Scalise is, but not by much. So it is kind of interesting that out of that meeting, they ended up rejecting Jordan and going with Scalise.
And it was almost virtually evenly split. And let's see, I believe it was 113 for Scalise and 99 for Jordan. That is pretty well split. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So yes, he got the majority of Republicans in the room, but 99 Republicans did not vote for Scalise in that closed ballot session. How many of them would vote for him if it goes to the floor? And the answer is not enough, because otherwise, Matt, wouldn't they have gotten out of the caucus? He would have said nice things to the camera, and they would have moved immediately to the chamber and done the vote, because that was the plan. Members, to my understanding, members on both sides were told, be ready for a floor vote. Well, they didn't get the unanimity of the caucus that they needed, and so there's no vote, right? Well, that tells me an awful lot.
Is the vote I thought was they're going to try to do one this afternoon? Has that been postponed? Do you know?
I don't see a time that was set. Now,
Yeah.
I may have missed on that, but the point is, you know, that's the thing to now watch, right? Because do they really want to have another multi-round vote? Oh my goodness. I mean, what kind of a train wreck would that be? Here's the other thing that was just hideous about all this. So they gathered in some sort of, student council debate last night or whatever it was. And both, now this is all just leaked information. But apparently both of them said, well, we're going to need another continuing resolution. There's just not time to get things done by November 17th. It's like, what are you gaining? Any of you out of this? When the best they can do is either McCarthy light, and I have respect for Scalise, and I know, surviving the shooting, his cancer trouble now. Jordan, again, has his constituency. But the best they can start with is, yep, I'm going to get to be speaker, and the first thing we're going to do is kick the can down the road to Christmas. Yikes.
I want to bring up Jim Jordan for a sec because there has been a long-standing accusations against him that when he was a coach over at the University of Ohio State, that he wasn't guilty of abusing students, but he turned a blind eye to where some of the student athletes that were under his watch were indeed abused, and that this was something that a lot of these wrestlers have actually said that he knew about. There hasn't really been an investigation. There has basically been closed doors investigation saying we're not going to do an open and shut investigation. But the reality is that there's always been this, and there already are some athletes coming out and saying, no, he should not be Speaker of the House for this. It's my theory that, Jim Jordan has been able to successfully not have to address these allegations. But if he becomes Speaker, not only will these accusations become the main talking point, but you're almost asking for the Democrats of the Senate to open up an investigation, which, once again, the last thing I think the Republicans need in the House is, oh, here's some allegations that end up being proven true, that Jim Jordan was aware of sexual abuse of athletes at the University of Ohio State University, and he didn't say anything about it.
When he was named Judiciary Committee chair, we did not hear much about this again. In other words, you're right. These stories have been out there for a very long time. When the Michigan State stuff all came out, this circled back around. At the time that he was named head of the Judiciary Committee, you did not hear this come up again. But when it was Speaker, what did you hear in the last week?
Yeah.
Remember the Ohio State issue. So you're right. That would be something. Now, I have an update here. The House gavelled in briefly at 2:00. And that was after the caucus vote. They prayed, they did the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Patrick McHenry immediately called a recess. Okay, so
never mind. Clang.
I just like banging the gavel, Watch my bow tie spin.
Twins don't start till 6. So okay, fine. We'll just do
I
it.
got time. Yeah. But now I see in a story that Jordan is urging his colleagues to vote for Scalise.
Yes.
Now that's the move of unity. That's the move of, whatever. But here's the hook, and it goes back to my other point. He doesn't have enough votes to win on the first ballot, or they wouldn't have adjourned. So even with Jordan saying, thanks to you 98 others who voted for me, but y'all need to vote for Steve. Steve's our man. The Raging Cajun. It's all him. They haven't. I mean, maybe Emmer can't count to 217. I don't know what the issue is.
Strong suspicion there. Actually, I think that's a astute. This is why we bring you on the air. That's John Emmer can't count. There you go.
I believe I've now slandered 2 members of the Republican House delegation. So
they're doing a fine job on their own. I don't think you're more adding parsley to the plate at this point. So
it's truth as a defense, is what you're saying. That's what management is going to use at AM 950.
It's gravy on the entree. That's all you're doing right now, man. It's gravy on the entree. So okay. I mean, by the way, I want to bring this back to Nancy Mace before we get to the break here. One of the things that she said, I voted against Kevin McCarthy because he wasn't supporting legislation to address sexual abuse and stuff like that. And then she threw her support behind Jim Jordan, who has this huge umbrella over him, which he has once again been shielded of, but he will not be able to be shielded from if he's a speaker. And when confronted about that, it's like where is this hypocrisy? Mace basically said, "Oh, I don't know anything about this," which once again, this is the issue that you basically use to get rid of Kevin McCarthy. And here you are now acting as if, what do you mean Jim Jordan had this allegation? I have no idea. I mean, and she said that basically, I think, on 2 consecutive news stories, which lead me to believe that, okay, nice job in between the two doing your research. But yeah,
wouldn't you look to the aide next to you and say, hey, get out your phone, Google Jordan and sexual allegations. Okay, go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the reality is that it kind of symbolizes the problem with Jim Jordan. I think Jordan's doing the right thing getting out of the way, although once again, I don't know if Scalise is necessarily a better choice, but at the same time, it's, that is a very ugly weight hanging over the head of Jim Jordan, and you do not want the Democrats trying to cut that line.
Well, and again, I don't know enough about the specifics other than to know there have been allegations. You would like to think if you're him and there's nothing to this, that you would yourself present information, ask for an investigation, etc. Because to your point, that is an 800-pound cloud over the head of anything that he wants to do.
And by the way, it is multiple athletes making fairly stark allegations. I think you just touched on the reason why he hasn't asked for that, because I think that would be, I don't think he would come out looking too good at the end of this. Let's take a break and come on back. We'll talk about what's next for the United States with Israel, as well as possibly with Ukraine as well. Jeff Stein joining us for his usual Wednesday visit. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day.
Seward Co-op is now offering convenient self-serve and prepackaged hot options and salad bars at both the Franklin and Friendship stores. Breakfast items available daily until 11 a.m. and brunch served all day every Sunday. Their weekly lunch and dinner menus highlight cuisines from around the world. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options daily. 95% of the ingredients used are organic from small-scale, local community food producers whenever possible. More at seward.coop.
This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, weekdays at 5 p.m. On our show, you'll hear about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. Weekly correspondents like Dr. Stately, State Senator Mary Kunesh, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake update us with the latest news from Turtle Island. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Listen weekdays at 5 p.m. or watch the show on Native Roots Radio social media accounts. Ho-wah!
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call, because we don't like to see anyone in pain. And we'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show. Jeff Stein joining us for his usual Wednesday visit. Jeff, obviously, a lot of being talked about with the surprise attack by Hamas into Israel. I was at an event earlier today, and one of the women there made the point. She goes, we can all say, that there's, there are problems in the world and things that need to be addressed. And you can, no country is perfect, no place is perfect. But people that are trying to make an argument that Hamas is somehow justified, that is just way off base. They slaughtered 260 at a music festival. They were going door to door, killing grandmothers and kids. it is truly an atrocious attack that needs to definitely be addressed. This was, just disturbing on a lot of levels. Your thoughts on this, and also just your thoughts. You pay attention to a lot of this stuff. Do you feel as if Hamas must have had some inside information on how they could have hit Israel so bad?
They had to have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they just had to have, because, and this is, I think, what's most shattering for a lot of people, Matt, is that Israel had prided itself with justification of having this tremendous intelligence network. Well, how in the world did that all fall apart? How could there be training without people knowing? And it's not just Israel. How about us?
Yes.
And so because the theory is, if they'd have seen it, they'd have done something and looped us in. If we'd have seen it, okay. I saw something and I didn't follow up with it, that Egypt may have tipped them off. If that's
Egypt apparently is insisting that earlier this year that they hadn't told Israel. It said, we don't know what's going on, but we're starting to get hints that something is up.
Okay.
And Israel, because Israel is not having anything show up on their intelligence reports, kind of dismissed it.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing that makes everyone so unsettled right now, is if they could get inside the country as deeply as they did and nobody knew it, then how do you have any confidence when that government says to its people, no, we have this covered? When our government says to us, don't worry, everything's fine. I mean, this was a big, big thing to miss.
Mm-hmm.
And the brutality of it. I mean, people want to look away, and I fully appreciate that. But, it's really hard to understand the depth of the commitment on the part of the terrorists until you see what they've done and what they're willing to. I mean, they're willing to die for the cause. And so many of us aren't willing to die for our causes. Therefore, it's hard for us to understand it. But that's where they get an advantage. If we don't take it seriously, if we don't understand it to the depth that it exists, oh gosh, this will be nothing. This will be just the very basics, the very beginning.
I've read some intelligence reports that basically come to the same conclusion. Iranian intelligence is not smart enough to have picked this up. That this more than likely came from another unknown source. The two countries that I keep seeing it mentioned on international circles are Saudi Arabia and Russia. That one of them might have tipped off the Iranians, which then get tipped off Hamas. Needless to say, considering your points are incredibly valid, because this level of attack, this isn't just luck. They knew how to kind of completely get around the Iron Dome. They basically were able to, like major incursions into the country. With very little. They knew everything, where everything was. This came from somewhere where they had some pretty extreme intelligence about what was going on in Israel.
At first we were hearing, okay, Hamas, Iran, whomever, maybe Hezbollah now from the north as well, they were all acting to screw up the Saudi-Israeli peace deal. That's what we heard in the immediate aftermath, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the Saudis are in on it to some degree? Or factions, and that's what I'm saying is, factions of that government. We keep wanting to forget 9/11, but factions of that government or of within that are harbored within that country, maybe there's some inside job stuff going on in all of these areas. And that's the truly tragic thing, because again, and I don't mean to be disgusting about this, but you extend your hand in peace to someone and they blow it off. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's what takes this from such a hopeful time in one respect to this absolutely barbaric situation. And again, there is no end in sight. There just isn't.
And your point about Saudi Arabia is true, is that is a very different type of government. And it would be like if the Saudi version of the House was trying to attack the United States while the Saudi version of the Senate was trying to do a peace deal with them.
Absolutely right. By the way, Nancy Mace just tweeted while we were on and said she doesn't know why there's not a vote. I'm not kidding. She simply says we were supposed to have a vote at 3 p.m.
She's not an A student. Thanks, Jeff. Hour 2 up next.
Join Twin Cities Quorum as they celebrate their 30th annual National Coming Out Day Luncheon. This inspirational and transformational event gives voice to the power of living openly, honestly, and with authenticity at work, in our families, and in our faith and across our lives. The realities of living an authentic life are deeper than just being out. We all have many layers of identity, and we must work together to create a world where people can bring their whole self to everything they do. The National Coming Out Day Luncheon serves as a celebration of who we are individually and together. Reserve your tickets today for Friday, October 13th. This year's National Coming Out Day Luncheon will be at the Minneapolis Convention Center in Minneapolis. The Marketplace Expo opens at 10 a.m. and the luncheon will begin at 11:45. Tickets are available to members for $60 or non-members for $75. Learn more and purchase your tickets at TwinCitiesQuorum.com on the events page. That's Twin Cities, QUORUM.com.
Join me, Tom Hartman, where smart people get their news. The Tom Hartman Program on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
President Biden is meeting with Jewish community leaders at the White House about the deadly Hamas attacks in Israel.
And I would argue it's the deadliest day for Jews since the Holocaust.
At least 22 Americans have died in the fighting there. At least 17 are unaccounted for. The president didn't want to talk much about that.
Folks, there's a lot we're doing. A lot we're doing. I have not given up hope of bringing these folks home. But the idea that I'm going to stand here before you and tell you what I'm doing is bizarre.
In a televised address, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu detailed atrocities that took place during the attack, including boys and girls bound and shot in the head, people burned alive, women raped, and soldiers who were beheaded. Republicans in the House nominated a new speaker, but whether he will quickly take on the job is uncertain. The AP's Sagar Magani has the story.
In private balloting, the deeply divided House GOP chose Majority Leader Steve Scalise in a narrow vote over Jim Jordan.
We have a lot of work to do.
When that would start is uncertain. The House remains at a standstill.
The House will come to order.
2.5 minutes later,
The chair declares the House in recess subject to the call of the chair.
a whole House floor vote on Scalise is expected, but it's unclear whether backers of Jordan, whom Donald Trump endorsed, will support Scalise. The White House's message, just get on with it.
We want to see the chaos be done with so that we can deliver on for the American people.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
There's been 35 drawings without a winner. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is $1.73 billion. Bobby Salvato is in line for tickets in Billerica, Massachusetts.
So it's exciting. So naturally, I bought 40 of them. I usually buy probably 10 or 20. I bought 40 today.
The Dow finished up 65 points. This is AP News.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month. And that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
G'day, mate. As an Australian, I'm a croc expert. Crikey, get him away from me. I mean Crocs, like the footwear. And as a croc expert, I have to say I like foamies from Skechers bloody better. Because foamies have that stylish, trendy look, plus Skechers' world-famous comfort. All for a price that's down under the competition. Skechers is the comfort technology company. And foamies have comfort innovations your whole family will love. Foamies are ultra-lightweight, water-friendly footwear that are flexible and breathable. Perfect for kicking it by the pool, grilling on the barbie. Or comfy enough to go on a walkabout. Plus, only foamies come with fits and features like Arch Fit with podiatrist-certified support. And max cushioning that feels like you're walking on big puffy marshmallows. And foamies are perfect to keep you cool this summer or warm in the winter, which is great because it's actually winter in Australia right now. Good on you, Skechers. So get yourself some machine washable foamies by Skechers and don't get bit by Crocs. He's a mean fella. Find foamies at Skechers.com, a Skechers store, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
There really is no place like home.
Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 59. Tonight, clear with a low around 43. And Thursday, a chance for rain with a high near 55. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up the freshest baked goods and modern comfort food in a cafeteria setting. Their menu is prepared with the best ingredients available. Cafe Latte is a leader in sustainable dining, composting their food and paper waste along with recycling everything they can. Located on Victoria and Grand in St. Paul or cafelatte.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here on your Wednesday. Once again, Jeff, we re-air that interview on Sundays, I believe, in the afternoons, evenings there, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
All right, you can listen to Jeff Stein on the weekend if you so desire. Please do. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So I'm going to take, once again, a few minutes here to talk about, well, we got a new contest here that involves our good friend in the morning show, Stephanie Miller, from 8 until 11 right here on AM 950. Been with us for a long time, and we love her show. Of course, her Sexy Liberal Tour. They're doing one show this year. It's a pay-per-view. They're doing it out of L.A., and it is going to be a week from Saturday, October 21st. Of course, Steph, her whole crew, Frangela, Hal Sparks, and John Fugelsang, they're all going to be there, as well as other special guests. It is available on pay-per-view. Now, here is the deal. We have got some pay-per-view passes to give away. That's right. And we're going to start doing it tomorrow, but we're kind of prefacing it because there's 2 ways you can win. Now, listen to the show starting tomorrow, all right? During the show tomorrow, at some point, we'll have a certain number of caller call in. That caller will get a pay-per-view pass so they can enjoy Stephanie Miller's Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour on October 21st on us. All right? So there's that. As well, we are going to have something we're doing with the social media. All right? Our social media pages, our Twitter page, our Facebook page, and our Instagram page, where tomorrow at 9, we are going to put up a post. And it'll be very identifiable what post it is. It will make sure you know this is the post that you have to put on the comment that will get you into the entry to possibly win. All right. The comment you have to write in there. So we'll put the post up there, and then in the comment section, either on Twitter, either on Facebook, either on Instagram, is I love Steph. You can type out I love Steph. You can type out I heart Steph. It will work, but it's got to be one of those 2. Okay. And that will be starting at 9 o'clock on the social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Insta. You have until 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to get that in. We will randomly pick one person who entered in via that method. They will as well get them pay-per-view pass as well to go see the Stephanie Miller Sexy Liberal Tour. And we will announce the winner tomorrow. All right? Simple, easy. Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, yeah. Make sure you follow those accounts. Look for that post tomorrow, probably around 8 or 9 a.m.
8 or 9 a.m. Look for it once again. AM 9, and it's not the Matt McNeil show page. It's the AM 950 radio page. So AM 950 on Twitter, AM 950 on Facebook, AM 950 on Facebook or on Insta. All right, there you go. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I want to thank the South Metro DFL Senior Caucus for having me out today. I stopped at the Lakeville Pizza Ranch. Nope. No Kirk Cousins. And
someone politically stopping at a pizza ranch sounds like you're running for president.
We did have the 52B race, or 3 of the 4 DFL candidates for 52B, the special election. They were there. I was there. A lot of other people there. A lot of fun. I had a really good time. I want to say a big salute to all the people out there in the South Metro. And if I can, I think, and this is, if there's anything I can tell you right now, is be very freaking careful of the raccoons. Okay. You'll understand here, because this is okay. It's a little scary to say the least. The raccoons in Burnsville are not acting normal. Down the South Metro, right next to Lakeville. They could be going over to that pizza ranch. I don't know. Burnsville residents have reported seeing more than a dozen staggering, slumped over, or overly tame raccoons since July, prompting the city's animal control to recommend residents call authorities if they see such an animal. All right, once again, we live in a society which tells you, hey, don't go near the 3,000-pound buffalo right before they go next to the thing and get stomped. Actually, 3,000 is like 1,200 pounds. But needless to say, it's pretty freaking big. I won't go over there and try to hug it. It's not the buffalo from the Buffalo Wild Wing commercials, okay? Do not approach a raccoon. They are not clean creatures. I'll just put it that way. You don't know what they've been scrubbing in, but it went down your drains, okay? How about I say it like that? People are advised to stay away from raccoons or any wildlife they encounter and to protect children and pets from approaching wildlife, a City of Burnsville news release said. Raccoons have also been reported to be having seizures at times, according to news releases. The locations of the 39 sightings have been spread throughout Burnsville. For comparison, the city saw 17 reports of raccoons behaving strangely in 2022. Dear Lord, you guys have no problems down there. Hey, I got another raccoon that seems to be kind of acting a little weird. Yeah, he's acting a little odd. 2 sick raccoons were recently taken to the University of Minnesota Veterinary Clinic. One of them tested positive for distemper and salmonellosis, salmonella food poisoning. Yum. Well, I mean, are you surprised? It's dumpster diving. Yeah.
They could have good immune systems though for all that they dive through.
How many pounds of rotting food in a dumpster do you have to, before you put that system to the test? Second animal's tests were uncertain, but it may have died from also salmonella poisoning. According to the National Institutes of Health, a raccoon may require a salmonella infection by eating infected wildlife, poultry, fish, or shellfish, consuming dirt, water, or plant material that is infected. So I'm going to guess poultry, fish, or shellfish. Is it eating clams? Is someone throwing clams out at like a seafood restaurant down there and the raccoon's getting into it? And the buffet's open, woo! Don't ever eat it. By the way, when you cook your clams, if it doesn't open, don't eat it. Don't try to force it open. Don't eat it. I lived in Rhode Island for enough years. If you cook the clams, they should open up after you've cooked them. If it hasn't opened up, do not try to open it up and eat it. That could be the raccoon's problem right there. The Minnesota DNR says that distemper is the most important disease causing raccoon mortality, but does not affect humans or properly immunized pets. Is there really a shortage of raccoons? It's like saying there's a shortage of pigeons. Well, where did all the Canadian geese go? Yeah, I mean, I don't think we don't have. I mean, I got like 5 in my neighborhood right now. I mean, you live near 9 Mile Creek, right?
Yeah.
They're down in there all over the place, man.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a shortage of those. So,
have you been giving the raccoons of Burnsville salmonella? We found our culprit. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. I got some national stories here that kind of just, I'll go with the hard one first, because this is, we all see where this cab is going with its doors wide open. The Supreme Court could guarantee gun rights for an accused domestic abuser. Several Second Amendment defenders finally wrote in their court filings last week. Not could, should. That's what they said. They should guarantee gun rights for an accused domestic abuser. The Second Amendment movement had not to date voiced much public support for Zachary Rahimi's cause, but the amicus filings offer a window into gun groups' thinking on the questions posed by the USA versus Zaki Rahimi, which promises to define how the courts will interpret the right to bear arms in the coming years, and specifically whether laws banning domestic abusers from gun possession are constitutional. I want to make sure we understand this. You have people who have a track record of violently attacking other people. A track record of it. Violently attacking other people. And the Supreme Court will probably either 5-4 one way or the other rule that, yep, you got to allow the people who's threatening someone to be able to, put a gun in their face. Or not if sanity reigns. The court will hear oral arguments in the case next month. I mean, like I said, this is one of those things where you read this story and you realize how badly things got screwed up when Donald Trump won in 2016. The Supreme Court last three major decisions to expand gun rights all emerged out of civil court cases brought by law-abiding firearms owners and an advocacy group. Rahimi, on the other hand, features a potentially unsympathetic defendant accused of repeatedly shooting guns at people, into houses, at cars, and into the air. I want to repeat that. Rahimi has multiple times shot guns at people, shot guns at houses, shot guns at cars, and into the air. He clearly cannot be trusted with a gun. And in addition to the alleged domestic violence against his former partner, with whom he has a young child, Rahimi faces felony prosecutions in Tarrant County, Texas, for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon against 3 separate people, recklessly discharging the firearm, and possession of fentanyl. This is the poster child for why you do not allow everyone to have a gun in a society. A person who doesn't understand how dangerous they are, who is a rageaholic, who has multiple times fired rounds at people and houses, who has been domestically violent against his partner. He has 3 cases of aggravated assault, and the Supreme Court of the United States, because the NRA just has to take a few of those schmucks out to a vacation, exclusive vacation in Santorini or something like that. The Supreme Court could say, you know what? There's nothing you can do. You see, the onus is on them. The onus is on them. The onus is on you. You got to let them have the gun. If they shoot them, then you can arrest them. And sure, you might have a few dead people, but that's the cost of freedom. Sure as hell's not their friends, not their family, not their kids. Dear Lord. He publicly discharged firearms at least 6 times, included repeatedly shooting at a separate young woman he lured into a parking lot, according to court filings and police records obtained by Huffington Post. After landing in prison to face his state criminal charges, he attacked a prison guard, according to incident reports. Those allegations are beside the point, says a filing submitted by 9 gun rights groups. I want to make sure we understand this. There are people who are out there who say, doesn't matter. That you could have someone who's committed 999 crimes, but you still got to give them the gun. But then when they commit the 1000th crime, then now that's a bad guy. He shouldn't have done that. We gave you your gun. Dear Lord, what a screwed up society this is. The filing from these jackasses that think that this is a good idea. The government focuses on the alleged criminal activities of Mr. Rahimi with 5 pages of detailed facts, conflating his alleged felonies with the entirely unrelated disarmament based on a civil order, the filing reads. So basically their arguing is, hey, just because he tried to kill all these people doesn't mean you can't take away the gun from him. I mean, and this is their whole argument, is that what they will do then is go to all his victims and say, what you really need is a gun. And that's the whole thing. You just figured it out. The whole thing here is not about taking the gun away from him, but creating an unwinnable situation where people who never in a million years would ever think about getting a gun have realized that the system has failed them, and that basically, unless they go get a gun, they have no chance at survival. Until, of course, considering it's Texas, a domestic abuser, the person that's being abused domestically, shoots him, and then they say, well, that wasn't stand your ground. And then they prosecute her. No matter how unsympathetic Rahami is, the gun owners should not be stripped of their Second Amendment rights without first convicting him of a crime with a higher standard of evidence, the group says. Rahami should not only lose his Second Amendment liberties, but he should also lose all of his liberties if the allegations against him are ultimately proven true with sufficient due process, said the NRA, but constitutional safeguards cannot be set aside to obtain those ends. It's not like there's one case. I want to make sure we understand this. It's not like there's one case where we're waiting to your trial and there seems to be conflicting evidence. Oh, no. This guy is 1,000 pounds of trash, white trash, 100%. Just absolutely, just a 1,000% horrible human being who lured a woman into a parking lot and opened fire on her. Multiple times has attacked people with guns. Even attacked a guard in a prison. And here the NRA is saying, he's still a good guy with a gun until we give him the gun back and then he breaks the law. Unbelievable. More on this when I do come back. 952. God, you listen to this and it just makes you weep. You wonder why Generation Z has had it with us. It's crap like this. And although it's going to be a slow process, I guarantee you that these rulings, the Supreme Court has got, I'm almost kind of wondering if they honestly feel as if they rule this way, that there aren't going to be consequences for them for the long run. That somehow when after there's 1,000 dead women who have been abused by their domestic abuser, 1,000 of them dead because of this Supreme Court ruling, will they think is like, well, people think we're doing a great job. Unbelievable. They have completely forsaken the safety and security of the American people. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It is the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? Be honest, how does your carpet look and smell right now? Okay, maybe you have a carpet disaster on your hands, but that's why you should call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner to save a little money, but trust shouldn't come that easily. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know it's safe and effective. That's why this month you can get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $149 and take $75 off when you get your air ducts Zero Res clean. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Spell it forward or backward, it's the same. Zero Res. Refresh, restore, and protect your investment. Call Zero Res to clean your business the right way so your floors and surfaces stay cleaner longer without the harmful chemicals the other guys use.
If you've made the decision to level your home and build new or to renovate, hire Better Futures Minnesota to take it apart by hand. Think before you scrap. Think of the energy and greenhouse gases saved by diverting what can be reused and recycled from the landfill. Better Futures Minnesota can do it for you. Hennepin County residents and public entities, there are funds available to make the environmentally right thing to do comparable to demolition. Check out betterfuturesminnesota.com. That's betterfuturesminnesota.com.
Join Twin Cities Quorum as they celebrate their 30th annual National Coming Out Day Luncheon. This inspirational and transformational event gives voice to the power of living openly, honestly, and with authenticity at work, in our families, and in our faith and across our lives. The realities of living an authentic life are deeper than just being out. We all have many layers of identity, and we must work together to create a world where people can bring their whole self to everything they do. The National Coming Out Day Luncheon serves as a celebration of who we are individually and together. Reserve your tickets today for Friday, October 13th. This year's National Coming Out Day luncheon will be at the Minneapolis Convention Center in Minneapolis. The Marketplace Expo opens at 10 a.m. and the luncheon will begin at 11:45. Tickets are available to members for $60 or non-members for $75. Learn more and purchase your tickets at TwinCitiesQuorum.com on the events page. That's Twin Cities, QUORUM.com.
My grandpa, Jim Warner, treated his customers like family, and Warner Stellian is still doing that today. I'm Angela Warner, and to thank you for 69 years, Warner Stellian Appliance is offering unbeatable savings of up to 40% off, free dishwasher installation, and no interest for 2 years with your Warner's card. Plus, go to WarnerStellian.com for an exclusive $50 coupon. These deals end October 18th, so hurry into one of our 10 Minnesota stores. You'll love your new appliances and Warner Stellian.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. By the way, I just looked. The guy seems to be white, Caucasian. But I knew he was Caucasian for this reason. Remember when Philando Castile, who was carrying a legally concealed weapon, was gunned down in his car? The NRA didn't say a damn thing. They didn't say. That was a gun owner killed solely because he was carrying a legal firearm. And the NRA didn't say a damn thing. Why? He was black. That's why. Here they are in this case with 20-time loser. I've shot at other people multiple times. I'm a domestic abuser. I have broken the law many times and fentanyl. And this guy, well, he's just a misunderstood rapscallion who needs to have every gun possible. Both filings downplay the legitimacy of many protective orders, with the 9-group coalition saying the government desires the power to disarm through untold thousands of Americans subject to civil protective orders. Yep. Which are based all on the manner of marital and relational discord. Seeing that high of a standard to disarm the alleged abuser would mark a sea change in U.S. law. So basically saying you can shoot someone in the face, but unless you basically are convicted of doing that, you should have a gun and you can shoot another person. Like, as long as the conviction has not happened, they basically say you can shoot anyone you want to. That's basically what the gun people are saying. They are saying people who have committed mass murders in schools, as long as they haven't been found guilty yet in a court of law, should legally be able to get more guns and shoot more people. That's what their whole argument is. People facing domestic abuse can access, this is their argument here, people facing domestic abuse can access two broad types of court orders to protect themselves: temporarily restraining orders that don't require a judge to sign off, and longer-term and protective orders issued by a court. And they say this acting as if those things actually do anything to stop a psychopath with a weapon. They act as if, see, there's a piece of paper you got there. These allegations are beside the point, says a filing submitted by the 9 gun rights groups. The government focuses on the alleged criminal activities of Rahimi with 5 pages of detailed facts, conflating his alleged felonies with his entirely unrelated disarmament based on a civil order. No matter how unsympathetic Rahimi is, gun owners should not be stripped of their Second Amendment rights without first convicting them of a crime with a high standard of evidence, the group says. So once again, the NRA now says this, that you could go up and shoot a bunch of kids in a school. That if you are let out of jail and you are awaiting trial, that you should be allowed to be armed again up until you're convicted. That is their argument, that you can blast away 8-year-olds in an elementary school, and the first thing the NRA says is, well, you can't take the gun away from him. He's out on the streets. He has the rights as a gun owner. He shot up another school. Well, until he gets convicted, we can't stop this carnage. Wow. Wow, this is a messed up world, man. Rahimi should not only lose his Second Amendment liabilities, but he should also lose all of his liberties if the allegations against him are ultimately proven to be true with sufficient due process. I look at this whole thing and I keep saying to myself, this one issue just shows you how broken we are as a society. Because this is only one thing. This is the gun lobby and the bullet lobby who couldn't care less about you whether you're alive or dead. You are all targets. I want to make sure we understand this. The NRA, all these gun people, they don't look at you as human being. You're targets. You don't have rights. You don't have rights to be alive. The life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, those don't matter. The only thing that matters is their bottom line profit. And trust me when I say the gun industry makes a freaking mint. They basically have bought off the majority of the House and the Senate to make sure that they can make arguments like, yeah, serial criminals with a domestic abuse background who also have fentanyl, as long as they haven't been convicted of the crime, even if they're waiting trial, you can't take their guns away from them. And every single one of these Republicans will sit there and say, I don't necessarily agree with it, but, the Second Amendment's the Second Amendment. The Founding Fathers, as imperfect as they were, would be horrified at what our society has turned into. And here is, as much as Republicans like to get Matt, you're being hyperbolic, you're being exaggeration to the nth degree. No, this is the NRA themselves saying, "Hey, guy, let me go back to this. Call this whole thing." He is repeatedly, in addition to the alleged domestic violence against the former partner whom he has a young child, Rahimi faces felony prosecution for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon against 3 separate people. So there's 4 people that he's threatened, and 3 of them with a deadly weapon, recklessly discharged a firearm in possession of fentanyl. He publicly disarmed his firearm at least 6 times, included repeatedly shooting at a separate young woman he lured into a parking lot. Their argument is going to be, if you make this world insane, then the sane people have no other option but to go down the path of insanity to basically keep themselves safe. And that is that the fact that we can't even say that people who are chronic criminals who have been proven that they can't be trusted to have a gun, we can't take their guns away from them. And I understand this is the Supreme Court has still yet to make this decision. And maybe, just maybe, Kavanaugh and Roberts and maybe Barrett, maybe they wake up and they realize, holy God, if we rule against this, then we're never going to get another White House trip again. So it's going to basically be, centuries before we basically get another chance to have this. And eventually all of us are going to get replaced by liberals and they'll overturn all of this. And we'll be the psychopathic, crazy court that basically said criminals can shoot as many people as possible as long as they haven't been convicted. Maybe, just maybe, there'll be enough common sense with those 3 to get over. But I have zero faith that Gorsuch, Alito, or Thomas, especially Alito and Thomas, who basically are so compromised that all the NRA has to do is take them on a luxury cruise or fly them to Rio or take them to Mazatlan or fly them to Paris, and they'll basically rule exactly how the NRA and the bullet manufacturers want them to rule, because Alito and Thomas are absolute scum of the earth. Oy. Think about that. I want you to think about it. Think about that. We all know 1 or 2 guys like that who are just constantly in trouble, violent people, and say to yourself, now they're basically going to be, there's a decent chance the Supreme Court is going to say, yep, you can basically go on out there and give you can't take those guns away from those people, even when they're threatening to murder other people. You just have to say, no, you pinky swear you're not going to murder them? You pinky swear? Okay, fine. He murdered them. Oh my gosh. Now I'm really angry. But while you're waiting to go to trial, here's another gun. Unbelievable. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Let's take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Mental health and substance use disorders are complex, stigmatizing, and can be overwhelming issues for families to face. Finding the right diagnosis and care can sometimes feel impossible, especially when you don't know where to start looking. Hazelden Betty Ford understands what your family is going through. Hazelden Betty Ford's patient access team will direct you towards a clear path forward, in network with most insurances. This message is brought to you by Hazelden Betty Ford, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Hey, it's Tom. Since 2009, All Energy Solar has been providing solar energy solutions to customers. With fully licensed electricians and installers, you can be sure that your solar installation will go smoothly. The team at All Energy Solar understands that every customer is unique. They'll take the time to survey and understand your property to find a solar solution that works for you. One of the biggest advantages of going solar is the opportunity to take advantage of the many solar incentives available. But it can often be confusing to know what you're qualified for. All Energy Solar professionals will help you find out what savings you can apply for and even help with your applications. This is especially important since many rebate programs have limited capacity and are first come, first serve. So it's important to have a professional on your side who will make sure you get every eligible rebate. Get a free no obligation assessment from All Energy Solar's commercial solar specialists by calling 800-620-3370 or visit allenergysolar.com.
2023 is here, and you can make it the year of the Eagle with the National Eagle Center. You and your family can enjoy exciting Eagle experiences, including field trips, private habitat tours, and exclusive behind-the-scenes tours. Meet live eagles up close, view bald eagles and golden eagles in the wild, and receive personal one-on-one education with dedicated and knowledgeable eagle experts as you journey into the world of eagles like never before. Learn more and plan your unforgettable Eagle experience today at nationaleaglecenter.org/experiences.
The Senior Linkage Line is a free statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging, helping older Minnesotans and caregivers find answers and connect to services and supports. Questions about Medicare, transportation, looking to move to senior housing, overwhelmed with prescription drug plans? Call the Senior Linkage Line at 800-333-2433 or visit trellisconnects.org, where we help people optimize well-being as they age. That's trellisconnects.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 59. Tonight, clear with a low around 43. And Thursday, a chance for rain with a high near 55. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been serving up the freshest baked goods and modern comfort food in a cafeteria setting. Their menu is prepared with the best ingredients available. Cafe Latte is a leader in sustainable dining, composting their food and paper waste along with recycling everything they can. Located off Victoria and Grand in St. Paul or at cafelatte.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. By the way, just one FYI note, you and I talked about this off the air. I went and mentioned on the air. Byron Buxton is now part of the Minnesota Twins lineup. He, Kiriloff got injured, and so he's gone, and they brought Buxton back. He is not in the lineup as of right now tonight. I cannot imagine they'd play him in the field. So he would be really only a pinch hit. I don't think they would let even him run the bases, correct? Would you be surprised?
I would think, yeah, he would just be up there to pinch hit. Hopefully he gets a home run. More likely going to strike out like everyone else.
Basically, he's going to, swing at flies. That's what's going to happen. But, someone new swinging at flies. How nice is that? Yeah, so there you go. It's a different option. So just FYI, Buxton is in the dugout in dress. He could be in the game. It's baseball is an interesting sport. Games like this, you'd say to yourself, well, Houston has the advantage. The reality is, watch Joe Ryan. Watch our starting pitcher. Their pitcher yesterday came in that game. He was near a 5 ERA. He looked like the second coming of Cy Young. A lot of that was the Twins pitchers. But hopefully, this goes back to Houston. And I'll tell you what, I'll take Lopez in that game, if that's the case. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Hey, we talked about the movie Sound of Freedom. Remember that?
Oh, that movie, yeah.
Remember when the director and the funders and the star all said that they had witnessed a video of a child being tortured to death and their endochrome taken from their body and I guess injected into a Hollywood celebrity who now can live forever with, wait a second, what was that last part again? Because I don't remember. Do you know anyone who's lived forever? I don't know of anyone that's lived forever.
I can't say I do either.
We brought up this point when they said this. You called the police, didn't you? Because that would be a murder. And you guys say these things like, I saw a video where this child was tortured to death so they could take the endochrome out and inject it into the celebrity. And the reality is you're saying this so you can basically create a fake villain that's there. But I'm going to go back to the, wait a second, you watched a video of a murder and you did not call the police. I don't care if it wasn't in this country. I don't care if you knew where it was. You say you saw a video of a murder. How is it your next call isn't, oh my God, that's a child getting murdered, 911. I got a video here. I don't know where it came from, but this is a murdered child. No, you never once did that, did you? I didn't. But you can tell me about how George Clooney now lives forever.
They may have known a guy who known a guy.
It was that guy, that guy over there who knew that guy. He once worked over at that one place over in that one town. That's the guy who found it online, somewhere online. I don't know the whole detail. You saw a video of a murder allegedly happening. You should have immediately called the police. And when you sit to me and say, well, that wasn't the point. What are you talking about? That's not the point. The murder is the point, isn't it? Oh, that's right. You've just made up a fake thing just so you can say, oh, it's all the people over there. You see, you guys aren't very smart. You're actually pretty stupid. Really stupid. And a lot of people, and that's the thing about The Sound of Freedom. It was an AstroTurf film because there were numerous times where the show is showing, and the movie was apparently sold out. And people went into the theater because they couldn't believe it because no one was talking about seeing this film, and the theater was empty, just empty. Someone had bought every seat to play the movie to an empty theater. That's what was happening, and it was happening across the country. I don't know how much money they actually made on that film, but they basically, I guarantee you, and like I said, there's nothing illegal against someone going out there and buying every ticket and no one goes to the theater. That's not illegal. But before you act like it's the biggest movie of the summer. No, it's not. Barbie was, and there was actually people in the theater. Trust me, I was at that Barbie showing. It was packed. Oppenheimer was pretty good too. So here we have this, and then there came this story that sort of popped up on the thing about one of the founders of this thing, who's basically against trying to protect children. He might have some issues himself, and now the rest of the story is coming out. 5 women on Monday sued the founder of the anti-child trafficking group that inspired a popular movie this year, alleging he sexually manipulated, abused, and harassed them on overseas trips designated to lure and catch child sex traffickers. Oh, you see, but that abuse is okay because Jesus. Okay, what? And by the way, I'm not joking. We'll get there. Tim Ballard's life story and work with Operation, Underground Railroad, inspired Sound of Freedom, a 2023 film popular with conservative moviegoers. He recently resigned from that group, though, amid sexual abuse and harassment allegations that he has denied. Ballard's prominence as an opponent of child sex trafficking got him invited to the White House under President Donald Trump. Previously special advisor to Trump's daughter, Ivanka Trump, Ballard was appointed to the White House Anti-Human Trafficking Board in 2019. And there's nothing against being against human trafficking and child sex trafficking. 100%. That's good things to be against. But it seems like this guy's got some issues. The complaint against Ballard centers on a couple's ruse. That's in quote, couple's ruse. He allegedly engaged with Operation Underground Railroad women who posed as his wife to fool child sex traffickers into thinking he was a legitimate client, according to the lawsuit filed in Utah State Court. Phone and email messages left with Operation Underground Railroad and Ballard's representatives were not immediately returned on Monday. Gee, I wonder why. The ruse began with Ballard and a woman in the organization taking cross-country trips to practice their sexual chemistry with tantric yoga, couples massage with escorts, and performing lap dances on Ballard, the lawsuit claims. So Christian, that tantric yoga, man. Oh, does that open up some of those tight zones? Let me just wait. Couples massage with escorts? You mean hookers?
Like he's doing this all into the guys. It's practice.
This is practice. Well, exactly.
Practice
right.
makes perfect.
If we're gonna stop the meth dealers, well, line them up, kids. We gotta know what we're dealing with here. Wasn't that the mayor of Toronto?
Yeah, I think he used that. Yeah.
I was just trying to stop the crack dealers by smoking as much crack as I could. Mission accomplished. While promotional materials portrayed the group's overseas missions as paramilitary drop-ins to arrest traffickers and rescue children. So you get this image of them rappelling down ropes, guns drawn. Get the kids on the chopper. Get them out of here. That's the image that they put out there, right? That's not what actually happened. Apparently, most of these trips overseas involved going to strip clubs and massage parlors across the world after flying first class to get there and staying at 5-star hotels, on boats, on Verbos across the globe. Sounds nice. Several women, meanwhile, were eventually subjected to coerced sexual contact, including several sexual acts, with the exception of actual penetration in various states of undress, the lawsuit alleges. Hello there. I'm sorry. Yeah. This guy, you could tell this guy's dirty. Even in private, because I mean, there's like I said, this guy tries to portray himself as, I went into the combat operations. I went and took a one-person mini sub and got into Thailand, and I was running through the jungle, and I got these kids, and we set up one of those balloon things, and the plane came and lifted us, and we were away. Dude, you're going to strip clubs after flying first class. That's not exactly, rappelling on in. Even in private, the lawsuit alleges, Ballard would claim that he and his female partner had to maintain the appearance of a romantic relationship at all times in case suspicious traffickers might be surveilling them at any moment. This dude was using this to get dates. Wow. The women who filed the lawsuit under pseudonyms allege Ballard, meanwhile, used his membership in the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints. Or was it the Church of Jesus Christ? Sorry. I'm a good Christian boy here, okay? And his connections to church leaders to persuade them what he was doing was just for the good of the children in need of help. Wow, how David Koresh of you. Yikes. Ballard said as a high-ranking church leader, M. Russell Ballard, no relation. No, it's Utah. It's Utah. Here's another guy named Ballard, no relation though. He gave him special permission to use the couple's ruse as long as there was no sexual intercourse or smooching. He said kissing, but I'll just put smooching in there because it's a better word. Smooching. The church, in a September statement, condemned Tim Ballard for unauthorized use of the church leader's name for personal advantage and activity regarded as morally unacceptable. Tim Ballard claimed a passage in the Book of Mormon justified performing unconventional tasks, the lawsuit alleges. The Bible made me do it. Ballard would get ketamine treatments and have a scribe come in with him while he talked to the dead prophet Nephi and issue forth prophecies about Ballard's greatness and future as a United States Senator, President of the United States, and ultimately the Mormon prophet to usher the second coming of Jesus, the lawsuit says. So you're taking drugs, you say? Days before the churches condemned Ballard, Mitt Romney announced he would not seek a second term representing Utah to the U.S. Senate. By the way, Romney doesn't have anything to do with this story outside of his resignation. Ballard, who has said he's considering running for Senate, has blamed political opponents for the recent sexual allegations against him. I don't know. I'd go for the 5 women who filed the charges against you. They seem to be the ones working against you. Well, so let me get this right. You basically, under the argument you were trying to stop child sex trafficking, basically convinced women to pretend to be in a close sexual relationship with you, including actually some contact, very Bobert at Beetlejuice sort of thing going on there. Hey, no penetration, but you know what? That means a lot. You can get a lot done between Act 1 and 2. You know what I mean? That's never going away, by the way. That is never going away. So he says this is a way for him to, get grabby with women and fly around the world. Once again, not as a military guy flying in, chopper blazing. No, he flew first class, stayed at top line accommodations, and then just went to a bunch of strip clubs in these countries with this woman who was supposedly his, wife, who I imagine probably there was a lot of levels of uncomfortable going on here. After, by the way, they flew across the country and pretended this ruse was going on. Because, and here's the linchpin here, he took a bunch of drugs, thought he was talking to an ancient Mormon deity, and basically the deity says, "You're awesome," and so I'm paraphrasing. And this is the guy behind the Sound of Freedom. I have zero doubt his apologists are already, but you don't understand. No. I think we all understand at this point what's going on. And I don't think he was talking to a prophet. How about I say that? I think he might have been someone else. 952-946-6205. 952-946. Steve behind the dumpster at the 7-Eleven. That's who I think it is. The guy with no teeth. Yeah, that guy. Hey, what do you want from me again? Tell me my future. All right, you're great. Yes. Now, pardon me while I go get my fake wife and we head to Toledo for hot clubbing. Yikes. 952-946. When are we having that movie? When's that movie?
The sequel.
It's like, let me tell you about the guys that funded the last one. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. The Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Whether you rent or own a home, we all likely have nightmare stories about home maintenance, or what I like to call home cringe moments. Join me, your host, Katie Shahan, for the Yarlow Home Cringe Show. See what home cringe-worthy stories we have for you each week as we talk with local home service pros. Learn best practices for winterizing your home or what to look for after a hailstorm. Listen to the Yarlow Home Cringe Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. or on your favorite podcast app.
When a drunk driver hit my car, the structural integrity and safety features of my Toyota Sienna saved my life. I will always own one. That's it. That's the ad. I don't think I need to add anything else, but I'll gladly mention their sales team is attentive and friendly. Their service department is the best in the state, and their vehicles, you can put a lot of faith in the quality and safety of a Toyota vehicle. The structural integrity and safety features of my Toyota Sienna saved my life. I will always own one. That says it all. Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Join the team that saves lives. About 2,300 people in Minnesota are waiting for a life-saving transplant at this very moment. And while men are more likely to need a transplant, they're less likely than women to register as organ donors. No matter your age or health, let's help tackle the waiting list. Make your game plan to register as a donor today at life-source.org. That's life-source.org. Sponsored by LifeSource, this station, and the Minnesota Broadcasters Association.
Twins at 6 tonight. Let's hope we get to game 5. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Mary Lou Retton. I, as a child of the 80s, as a Generation Xer, of course, I'll never forget her in 1984. The Olympic gymnastics champion, 55 is her current age. She's in intensive care currently with pneumonia in a Texas hospital. Her daughter, McKenna Kelly, said her gold medal winning mother is fighting for her life and currently unable to breathe on her own. Kelly set up a spot fund account to raise money for her mother's medical expenses. Now, that's the first thing that kind of, when I started hearing about the story, and this is, I'm reading a story that I got today, but this is, I think it was off Market Watch, but this is the first time I heard this. I said, wait a second here. Mary Lou Retton, you need to do a spot, kind of one of these GoFundMe things. That's what you need to do. You're Mary Lou Retton. I was wondering if I'd missed something in regards to, did she have some financial problems or something like that? Basically, so she started a spot fund account to raise money for her mother's medical expenses. Apparently, she wrote that Retton does not have medical insurance. What? Spot Fund is a crowdsourcing platform similar to GoFundMe. Retton is unusual in that respect. Just 7% of Americans of all ages of 25.3 million people are uninsured in the first 3 months of 2023, according to the latest figures. Thank you, Obamacare. But what's not unusual is her family turning to sites like Spot Fund or GoFundMe to help pay for health costs. In fact, 1/3 of GoFundMe campaigns raise money for medical bills. 1/3 of them. I know quite a few of them, according to a study published by the American Journal of Public Health last year. Most people who turn to crowdsourcing to meet healthcare costs don't have an Olympic gymnast level of name recognition. Only 12% of campaigns meet their goals. 16% receive no donations at all. The study showed returns were highly unequal and success was low, concluded the research who's analyzed 437,000 plus medical GoFundMe campaigns in the U.S. between 2016 and 2020. Despite its popularity and portrayals as an ad hoc safety net, medical crowdfunding is a misaligned with key indicators of health financing needs to be in the United States. Now, once again, Retton, who of course has a name, their campaign was initially looking for $50,000. It's raised $184,000. Now, I want to take a quick moment, if I can, just talk about my personal experience, because I saw all the bills that came down when I got hit by a drunk driver. I had to have surgery. I don't think she's had to have surgery, but I wasn't in the ICU. I was just in a regular hospital bed. She's been in the ICU for many days with specialized equipment. I think we went through $100,000 worth of medical bills, that most of which were covered by insurance, thankfully, in 3 days. That was CAT scans, MRIs, surgery, put rods and screws in my back, the ambulance ride, which are god-awful expensive, the emergency room physicians, which are very expensive. I got to tell you right now, she's been in the ICU for a long time. $184,000 is not going to cut it. That's a drop in the freaking bucket. So, but it does surprise me. If she has a mansion in Texas, she has a mansion, but she doesn't have health insurance. Now, there are some rumors floating around, and I want to be very clear. These are rumors. I tried to find anything that really backed this up. I couldn't find anything, but there's a lot of people that are saying these things kind of as factual. And one of them is she's an anti-vaxxer and that she doesn't believe in, and she's railed against, she's an evangelical who's railed against Obamacare. Which that's kind of stupid considering your situation you're in right now. The anti-vaxxer is bringing a lot of people out there because there's a lot of doctors who have said, well, this level of pneumonia is not common unless COVID's involved. and that they generally didn't have many cases like this until COVID came along. And then you had a lot of people who had serious cases, which, were complicated by COVID. And so the question here is, and they're basically being a little elusive about this. Does Mary Lou Retton have COVID? I hope not. And all my best to her family, but I still think what's $184,000 ain't going to cover those bills. Native Roots Radio, that's up next. Have a good one. We're back tomorrow. Till then, see ya.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
Hey, Minnesota, it's your favorite sexy liberal. Join me and my fellow cohorts in liberal justice weekdays from 8 to 11 on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a late-night televised address, says Hamas militants beheaded soldiers and raped women in their attack on Israel. He's vowing Israel will crush and destroy Hamas in response. Israeli planes continue to pound Gaza. Authorities there say 1,100 people have been killed in 5 days of war. The toll in Israel is 1,200. Netanyahu has formed a unity government with top political rival Benny Gantz to manage the war. Meantime, President Biden calls Hamas's weekend attacks a campaign of pure cruelty. Sakar Magani has more.
The president's drawing a stark historical comparison.
I would argue it's the deadliest day for Jews since the Holocaust.
He says the attacks also killed 22 Americans. More than a dozen others are missing, with some believed held hostage by Hamas. The president says the U.S. is doing all it can to free them.
I have not given up hope of bringing these folks home.
Hours earlier, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the U.S. was bracing for the worst.
I think we all need to steel ourselves for the very distinct possibility that these numbers will keep increasing and that we may, in fact, find out that more Americans are part of the hostage pool.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
On Capitol Hill, Republicans have nominated Congressman Steve Scalise to be the next House Speaker. Now they must try to unite to elect him in a floor vote. Unclear when that may happen. In-person voting for a ballot measure on abortion rights is beginning in Ohio, the latest state where voters will decide the issue after the Supreme Court overturned a nationwide right to the procedure last year. A federal appeals court has ruled California's ban on higher capacity magazines can remain in effect, while the state fights a lower court ruling that it's unconstitutional. And another strong earthquake has hit western Afghanistan. The earlier one killed more than 2,000 people. This is AP News.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month. And that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51
Hi, this is Paul Metza. Honored to tell you I've been broadcasting my Wall of Power radio hour show on AM 950 for over 9 years. We have had musicians that have played with Bob Dylan and Prince, local musicians, authors, comedians, CIA agents. My motto is cool people from all walks of life in all 50 states. It airs every Saturday night at 6 p.m. on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Did you know Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken airs 5 nights a week at 10 p.m.? That's 5 nights of talking about ghosts, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. We're talking about the paranormal every Monday through Friday with some of the most trusted names in the field. Join us and step into the unknown with Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Only if you dare.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
My grandpa, Jim Warner, treated his customers like family, and Warner Stellian is still doing that today. I'm Angela Warner, and to thank you for 69 years, Warner Stellian Appliance is offering unbeatable savings of up to 40% off, free dishwasher installation, and no interest for 2 years with your Warner's card. Plus, go to warnerstellian.com for an exclusive $50 coupon. These deals end October 18th, so hurry into one of our 10 Minnesota stores. You'll love your new appliances and Warner Stellian.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 43, Thursday cloudy with a high near 53, and Thursday night rain with a low around 45. Grab a tray at Cafe Latte's Cafeteria and select from a wide variety of sandwiches, salads, and soups. The bakery features fresh baked breads, cupcakes, and more, while the pizza and wine bar has gourmet pizzas that pair perfectly with their 30-plus wines by the glass. Located off Victoria and Grand at St. Paul or at cafelatte.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. He didn't cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway. They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanda.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. Can you hear me, Haley? Hey, Cudahy to all my friends in 4 directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm at the Twins game. Oh, wow. Haley, we can't hear you. I think you're muted. Haley, you got to hit the unmute button. There you go.
Yes, I was running my stuff from the board. We're going to go ahead right away here with our ticket giveaway for the Guthrie Theater. We're going to be handing out a pair of tickets for the Thursday, October 19th, 7:30 p.m. performance for the people at the Guthrie Theater. We're going to have someone call in right now. Let's take our third caller. Our number, call us right now at 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205.
Well, hey, now that you can hear me, Haley, or I can hear you, I'm at the Twins game here, and exciting stuff. We're going to have Arvina on, and we're going to talk to her. She's driving, so we're all being dangerous, and we're all driving you producers crazy with our wicked ways here. So it's good to be here. And again, call us at 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. Win those tickets. It's going to be an awesome play. Maybe, Haley, you can talk a little bit about it before we get our guest on.
Yes. So again, this pair of tickets that we're handing out is for the Thursday, October 19th performance at 7:30. This is a show, a comedy born from the Twin Cities native community for the people by Ty Defoe, Larissa Fast Horse, directed by Michael John Garces, and Ernest Briggs is in this one, Sherry Foster Blake, Kendall Kent, Wes Studi, who will be we're really excited to have him on the show. Hopefully here within the next week or so. So we'll be interviewing Wes Studi. Also Nathaniel Two Bears is in that one as well. So a couple Ho Chunks, which we're really excited to support in that play. And we're excited to be out there for opening night too this Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited. Wendy, you, me, and we'll be out there and be able to see this play firsthand and talk about it. Can you guys see my other camera here in the Twins? I don't know if you guys can see.
If you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, Robert is here live at the Twins game. He's out at Target Field. We've got our cams up. So go Twins. And when is the first pitch? Is that at 6?
6:07. So we got a little time, and it's like Dan Gladden's going to be catching the first pitch, and Gary Gaietti's coming in town to throw out the first pitch, and he was a big part of the '87 team, and one of the best third basemen the Twins ever had. So that'll be awesome. Throwing it to our friend Dan Gladden. So I'm wondering, do we have our Arvinia on the line?
I think we do. Arvina, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you. Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I have to say that, Robert, I believe I saw a picture of you with former Twin and as far as I'm concerned, Brewer for all time, Paul Molitor.
That's right. I did. Yes. Between us, we have 3,400 hits between Paul and I, and he's a St. Paul neighborhood kid. So we all grew up together over there in St. Paul, the Midway area, and know his family really well. And, just that. Go ahead.
Like 12-year-old me is dying right now because I had the biggest crush on Paul Molitor.
That's awesome. And then you hear this other Ho-Chunk thing too, is that Haley went to school with one of the Twins that are playing, went to high school with one of the Twins. So we're all connected, as we all know. We're all connected here.
I did. Yes. So Matt Wallner, he's had his debut this year, and I did graduate. I've known Matt since elementary school, kindergarten, really, but yeah, really great baseball player. So excited to see him.
And we shouldn't be surprised that Ho-Chunks are the center of the universe.
Right?
I'm just saying.
We know everyone.
Yes, we are. That's awesome. Hey, Arvina, what are you doing? I hear rumors you're driving to some important meeting. Can you talk about that at all, or is it hush hush?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The important meeting that I'm driving to is picking up my daughter at her first high school basketball practice. So this is a big deal. Getting another Ho-Chunk athlete out there and getting her ready for her. This is preseason for high school girls basketball here in Wisconsin. So, everybody out there who is listening, if you're in Wisconsin, Madison,